Well, it's the 5th of March. I have to kind of laugh, man. It's really one of them, see if you don't laugh, man, you're gonna go off your rocker, man. So, just to give you an update on the van and my mental health. But just give me a second to even unscramble it all to put into words for you. That's more. She's just as confused as me. So the story is, for the get-go, Swinton camper vans, you know the story, they shafted me proper. And it wasn't the setup I wanted, but the fridge was working and whatever was in was working. And I was able to at least enjoy a few days up north in the van and pretend that it was a working camper van that I wanted. And then I thought, right, okay, I want to put out feelers now to try and find a company that can undo this mess and give me what I wanted. And I thought, if I could at least find a company who say, Ian, terrible what happened to you, we would like to help you. When you get your finances organised in the summer, we promise you, we will knock it out, do exactly what you want. But for just now, what to do, son, is take your van, enjoy the rest of your summer, enjoy the rest of next year. If you're wanting to do work to your van to fit it out, the joinery work and finish it, we can work around that. And that'd be fantastic for me. That means that I can take time out for my mental health and take time out of all the external stuff and really just focus on me, so that when the summer came, I would be in a much better place mentally to enjoy finishing off the process. And at least for next summer, I could enjoy next summer. And I could work with that, because I need this year to really work on my mental health. Now that yesterday I was at the psychiatrist and they gave me an official diagnosis of borderline personality disorder. So it's bad enough getting shafted when you're normal or healthy. But to have it when you get borderline personality disorder, and it's full on, and because of Alan Timmins and losing my father and losing my partner. So I looked about for a company, and I found a company on the East Coast. I'll give you all the information later. And his name's Ewan McGregor. And he came back to me and says, Ian, I've listened to your story, man. It's absolutely shocking what's happened. Come on over and we'll have a chat and we'll go over the van. I said, listen, man, I've only got £12,000 in the bank. And that's the last of my inheritance. Out with that, I'm broke until there's finances coming in this, hopefully late spring this year. And that would be then when I get the van done. And he said, right, okay. So I came down, he looked over the van, he said, Matt, he was disgusted, he said, it's terrible what's happened to you. He said, Ian, I've spoken to my partner and we've agreed that, listen, we want to help you out and give you finance for the van. So if you give us £12,000, that buys all the parts and we'll cover the other expenses. And my understanding was when the rest of my father's estate was closed, I would have the money then to pay the van. No issues. So that was my understanding. So after giving them the 12 grand, well, no, sorry. When it came to dropping the van off to him, I thought, I get shafted before, so I better take someone who maybe sees things that I don't see. So I took my big sister and I explained the situation. She knew about Swinton. We went up, and funnily enough, and we saw Ewan, and we spoke to him, and he happened to mention to Anne, listen, I understand Zane's situation, and spoke about the finance deal that we had. So that was her understanding as well. And when I went to Ewan, I wasn't expecting him to offer finance. I never knew there was such a thing. I thought I'd be organising with him for the plans for the summer when my dad's estate gets settled, and then at least I know, right, I've got somebody there. He seems genuine. He's going to do the van, and that way I can mentally take time out to recover from the first company shafting me, having to really let go of it was almost like letting go of part of my father's memory, because it's affected me so badly that I haven't got his memory in my mind. So I was understanding. Now this was August last year when I met him, and he says, Aaron, right, we've got the understanding on the finances, and I had only went up north for 4 days, and it was a beautiful summer in Glencoe, and I was able to start to enjoy. I just put aside all the crap in the van, but I actually was able to enjoy a wee flavour of what it was going to be like. And I knew I only had 4 days up north because I had to take the van back to Ewan because he wanted to work on it right away, and he gave me his word that he'd be able to deliver it by late November. And I thought, man, and I saw a van he was working on for a customer, an upgrade, and it all looks really tidy, neat, professional. I spoke to the customer, and he appeared to think that he was happy with the job. So we dropped the van off, and so So then he contacted, and what happened is I would go up a few days, and we're trying to go over what I'm wanting and where it's all, where everything's going to go. Maybe rejig the van, and he's pushing for, oh, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this. And I said, hey, I've only got a certain budget. I said, I'm wanting this tank that I have in the back to stay in the back, because it's inside the van, so it's insulated from the cold in the winter. It gives me 120 litres of weight that's over the back driving axle, so that it gives me a bit of traction with the off-road tyres I've got, and also it's just a good weighted place to be. And then he's talking about stripping out this, and he's saying, no, strip out your seats, and you need to strip out this, and I'm like, hold on, this is my father's money that I've spent to set out the van, and you're wanting me to rip it all out. So that emotionally was quite difficult, and I said, have you got plans for the van that are out with what I've asked you to do? He says, well, I'd like to get a proper rock and roll bed in there for you. And I'm like, well, how much is a rock and roll bed? And I said, listen, if you can do all my van, and if you feel that you can do a few extra things that is within that budget, that's fine. But he was pushing for, you're getting a chemical toilet. And I'm like, no, I want a composting toilet, because if I'm living in it full time, I can grab peat for the peat bog and just chuck it in a composting toilet for your crap. And you're wanting a chemical toilet that I have to put chemicals in. And if I'm out in the sticks for a week, that toilet's full. So I need to empty it into a bigger container so that when I get back to a village or a campsite, to slop it all out. And he's telling me to rip out this and that. And he just took control. And so he never delivered. So it ended up he never delivered the van for November. He said, I've got a backlog, I want to clear it, and I'll start. It's booked in for the spray shop in January after New Year. And I thought, right, okay, because it's a winter. if he can clear his backlog and start it in January, and he gave me his word that it would be ready for the end of this month, April, complete. And that's what he told me. And so, yeah, he contacted me to say, right, Ian, be great for you to come up because your van's finished, and I'm picking it up, and this is Wednesday, and I'm picking it up on Friday, and then on the Monday, it's both, we're at it. So he called me up. So I'm assuming that, right, okay, let's really hash out and make sure that I'm getting what I'm asking for and that we have it. We get a floor plan because I'd like for you to do a certain amount of fit out, and then I take the van home to do the joinery work and bring it back, and then we work together to finish it off, and it'll be finished the end of this April. And then the finance. Now, to me, if you tell me a finance agreement, it's the same as going to a car branch and saying, I want to buy that car, but I've only got £2,000 deposit. Can I get a finance deal with you? And you set that up, and you assume that if you've got a car finance deal, it's for 5-6 years. So I thought it seemed logical that if Ewan was offering me a finance deal, that it seemed normal that he'd be willing to give me a finance deal at the most extreme a year and get paid in full. That was my understanding. But no, when I drove up the Wednesday, just a few weeks ago, I turned up and he's wanting me to take a lot of rubbish away for the van and to take my fridge freezer back home. And I found that strange. This was the Wednesday that I was up. Thought that's strange if you're starting on the van on Monday. But I was just a wee bit taken aback, and I thought, right, I'll take the stuff away. And the van, and when I was up, the van it's not back yet. And this is the first conversation I've had about any type of finance. And he said, now, Aaron, that's your van, it's coming back on Monday. But I need £5,000 in the next 2 days before I turn a spanner on the van. And then after that, say maybe a month from now, or a couple of weeks from now, I'll be wanting another £2,500. And I was like, whoa, where's this coming from? Because I thought we had a finance agreement and you're telling me I've got to find £5,000 in 2 days when I'm broke. I'm on universal credit getting £350 a month. And I'm paying for my insurance and my road tax for a van and a car. And so I'm stunned. And I'm saying to myself, he's saying this is what it is. And I'm like left with that. Going there thinking that we were having a talk over getting organised working on the van on the Monday, and all of a sudden he's saying, no, Aaron, I want £5,000 now. You've already gave me £12,000. But I want £5,000 before I turn the key. And he's charged me £2,500 for stripping out the van, only all the stuff that was put in, and an apparent consultancy fee with me for the layout plan, what we're fitting. He's ordered a £500. He's ordered a underslung water tank that's specially made, and it costs £500. And I haven't agreed to that. I want my water tank here that costs me £150 in my back, but I can't piss away my father's money just over his whims. I don't want a chemical toilet, I want a composting toilet. So I leave. I'm speechless, and I'm devastated. And I haven't spoken to my mum for 4 months because of my mental health. But now I feel I have to. I haven't been great with my mum, but I have to now ask my mum. Mum, I know you're 88 years old, and you've got a pension, a wee bit of extra income, but do you happen to have a spare £5,000 in your bank account? Because I'm now basically being blackmailed that the van is not going to be started on until I find £5,000. And she's like, I'm sorry, but I don't. And I go home, and the next day, contact my sister for guidance because my head's, I don't know. And while I'm talking to her, I start punching my face as hard as you like. And I realise it's not, I'm so agitated, I'm so confused. I grab a coffee mug and I whack it as hard as I can on my head there. And I had in the shape of a U, I cut my head. I didn't think I cut my head. And it started bleeding. And then I kind of get that system. And then I say, Anne, can you help me, please? Can you contact Ewan and get a sit down and talk through this situation? Because I feel that now I'm being held to ransom. He failed to deliver at Christmas. And then he's saying now that he's failing to deliver it because he wants $5,000, which means he will now fail to deliver on the new date, which was the end of April. And he charges you storage, £800 a month. But he's being kind and he's lowering it to £300 a month for storage at his mistake, at my expense. So a few days after talking to my sister, I was crushed and I became overwhelmed with suicidal ideation. Wanted to commit suicide, cracking up. So what did I do? I don't want to kill myself, so I grab a knife and I cut my arms all over again. And I send them an email. A nice email, but I send them a photo of my arms. And so yesterday I had went to the psychiatrist and it was great, really great, because I don't trust them, but they were great and listened to me and had so I've got an official diagnosis of borderline personality disorder, so I'm dealing with that as well. So me and my mum, who's 88, we drove up today. I said, Mum, because I was going up today myself, and I had a few people telling me a few mental health issues. You cannot go yourself because you will be triggered, and if you're triggered, you're not mentally stable. So I was trying to find who can I ask. So I asked my mum. In fact, I didn't want to put her through it. She contacted me yesterday. So we agreed that we would go up today. So we went up today. And my thing is, right, you've breached the original contract of delivery date of November. Now you've breached the financial agreement, which means you're now breaching your new delivery date, which is the end of this month. So I'm like, Mum, I need to sell my car now because I'm flat broke. I'm in my overdraft, £700. I need to go up, get my van so I can bring it back and I can sell my car so that I'm not in debt and figure out things for there. And my sister had tried to speak to Ewan, and it was a bit like that their agreement was, right, we'll hit pause until we get $9,000 together. And that's not what I asked. I said, I wanted you to talk to him, to say you wanted a sit down, the three of us, and for me to get my time to talk through my understanding of our agreement in conversation from the start to now, and for him to explain to me how I could possibly misunderstand that I had to find £9,000. Because if I had to find any money, then I wouldn't have given him the van in August, because I would have known that I wouldn't have money until my father's estate comes in. So I wouldn't have stripped out my van, and I wouldn't have cut short that summer holiday that I needed. So me and my mum went up today, and I recorded the conversation on my phone in my pocket, which was a kind of short conversation. My mum knows the full story, and my sister's a witness to this financial agreement that I understand to be. So I'm going to ask her, she has to write it out so I can give that to the lawyer now. So me and my mum went up and tried to appeal to Ewan and say, Ewan, you know Erin's mental health is bad. And she's holding back the tears because she knows that her son's cutting himself. And she's trying to appeal to his nature to say, Ewan, the van, Erin needs the van. Because, you know, he wants to be able to maybe tidy it up joinery-wise and just get his stuff in it. And he needs to go up north and breathe and just try and take some time out. And then later we would discuss the situation with the finances. But I was jumping in and I was saying, but you never kept your side of the financial agreement. And they wouldn't let me talk. Because I was getting agitated, man. But I was staying very calm. But I was starting to get agitated. But I'm trying to behave myself because I don't want to embarrass my mum. And the conversation's going nowhere. He's saying, basically, your van's not here. It's in storage. You owe me some money, this money, that I never knew about. And he's not getting the van. End of. And if he want... Because I said to him before, I emailed him after and I says, Ewan, you put me in such a situation, I have no idea what to do. And no longer... It's like, man, you were supposed to give me that hope I keep my father's dream in my life in my dream with a van. And now you're just bending me over. And if I wait until the money comes through, I'll be halfway through summer before you even start on the van. And for me to do all the fit out. So it'll be August, September again before having full use to the van. And that van is worth 14.5 grand. And what I said about the windows, the tyres, windows, tyres, new brakes. He's got my Truma boiler, which is brand new, £1,300, and another Max Air fan, which is £350. He's got £12,000 of all my parts, which I don't know what parts are what. And he's got my van. And because he spent £4,000 on the spray, on the bodywork, he thinks he can hold me to ransom. Because my intention was today, if my van was there, I had the master key. And I was taking that. Because he's got no right to hold that against me. And he's blackmailing me. So I haven't even got the use of my van. And now I'm so calm about it because I'm really over it, man. I have to be over it. For me, I don't want now my mum, because I haven't got... She knows that I haven't got the van now. And she's nervous because she knows that she doesn't know how I'm going to process this situation and somehow have an acceptance within myself that I might not see this van even just to use as an empty shell for me for maybe the next 4 months, because he's changed the rules and then he said, can you leave here and then I'll talk to your mum for 5 minutes, because I'm too... I've got all the answers, I think. But my mum's no stupid, and she was in there talking to him and listening to the pish. So she says, Aaron, I'm 88, man. I got a good measure of people. And he's not... he doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about your feelings. All he cares about is it's money. And he's changed... He told you that he was going to do all this extra stuff. He was getting me to rip up all the wood and everything I've got in there that you see in the videos is ripped out. The only thing that's left now is part of the floor in the back wall for the garage. Everything and some of the wood on the walls. But it's gutted out. The only thing left of the original stuff is the gas tank underneath. So now I have to just stay calm, contact my mum every day and just reassure her I'm okay. And I've got to get a civil lawyer and go through that crap. The only good thing is I'm on legal aid because I'm broke. I can get legal aid. So that's where I'm at. So I will put his, once I resolve it through the lawyer, hopefully, and I just want my van back. I want my I want all the parts, because if I was to wait another year, the prices could be even more for the parts. And I want compensated because he ripped out the previous company's work, which even though it was shoddy, not what I wanted, it ran the fridge, it ran the boiler, it ran the lights, the water pump, the stove, the sink. So I could have at least have enjoyed it on a hookup, but I don't have that. So I'm going to sign off here. So that's where I'm at. And you know, I think the biggest part of this story is that I know that I'm in the right and I am speaking the truth. And yeah, I'm keeping my faith. And my faith is actually, it's helped me a lot, man. I've not always been able to stay calm with the support of it. There's, you know, like cutting myself, but I feel calm now because I have to accept it. It's out of my control and I have to put it in trust that I can get a lawyer, man, that I trust. And with borderline personality disorder, you have serious, what I'm experiencing just now is a severe lack of trust. I don't trust anybody, even my family members. I just no trust, so and paranoia, and not thinking about, because it was like you feel in your bones that surely I can't get shafted twice. Surely this can't happen, but somehow in the back of my head, it was saying, yeah, you are. But I thought it was down to my paranoia to do with my mental health. And I asked my sister, and she says he seemed like a sincere, genuine guy and really wants to help you out. But she's gobsmacked. So that's it. I'm not going to waffle, but I just try and support me a wee bit just by sharing these videos, because this is bad. It's just bad to treat another human being like this. No, it's not on, man. So I'll sign off, okay, folks. But thanks for watching. Cheers.